There are moments in life when the noise of the world feels unbearable, when every sound, every notification, every thought demands your attention, and your mind feels like it's being torn apart by invisible hands. You wake up already tired, you chase things that don't matter, and you go to bed restless, haunted by 1,000 unfinished thoughts. But what if the ability to find peace in this chaos has already been discovered centuries ago? What if one man, long before electricity, long before modern life, mastered a level of focus so pure that it bordered on the supernatural? His name was Miyamoto Musashi, and his secret might be the antidote to everything that is breaking your mind today. Before we begin, take a moment to subscribe to the channel, not just to support it, but as a personal commitment to your own growth. Each video here is a step deeper into understanding yourself, your focus, your discipline, your mind. So join me. Let's walk this path together. Now, let's go back in time. The year is 1604. Japan is at peace, but the wounds of war still bleed beneath the surface. In a quiet province, a young man wanders from village to village with nothing but a wooden sword and a strange, almost unsettling calm. His name is Musashi. He is barely 20, yet his eyes carry the weight of centuries. He has already fought and won duels that should have killed him, but what made him dangerous was not his sword, it was his mind. While others trained endlessly to perfect their swings, Musashi trained to still his mind. He believed that the sharpest weapon in existence was not forged from steel, but from awareness. His duels weren't battles of strength, they were battles of attention. He could see the hesitation in his opponent's stance, the fear in their breath, the flicker of distraction in their eyes. And that single moment, the instant when the other man's mind wandered, was enough. Musashi didn't fight the man. He fought his uncertainty. Centuries before neuroscience, Musashi understood that the mind could be shaped, hardened, and purified like a blade. He called his practice the way of emptiness, not emptiness as in nothingness, but emptiness as in clarity, the absence of noise, the absence of inner conflict. He believed that the one who could face chaos with stillness would always win, not in battle, but in life. Imagine him sitting in a small wooden hut before dawn. The mist outside, thick as breath. No phone, no clock, no urgency, only stillness. He sharpens his sword, but his eyes are closed. He listens, not to sound, but to silence. That silence was his teacher. That silence was his mirror. While the world sought stimulation, Musashi sought subtraction. Every comfort he removed, every distraction he refused, was a step toward mastery. And in that emptiness, he found power that no one else could touch. You and I live in a different age, but the battle is the same. We are surrounded by noise, digital, emotional, psychological. Our weapons are different, but our enemy is identical: distraction. Musashi fought warriors who carried blades. You fight a world that, he once said, you must understand that there is more than one path to the top of the mountain. For Musashi, the mountain was mastery, and the paths were many: combat, art, calligraphy, meditation. He was not a soldier. He was an architect of attention. He saw that focus was not something you forced. It was something you built, moment by moment, through presence. When Musashi spoke of mushin, the mind without mind, he meant a state where thought and action were one. No hesitation, no fear, no analysis, just flow. Modern science calls this the flow state, a condition where the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for overthinking, goes quiet, and pure instinct takes over. Musashi had mastered this 400 years before we had a word for it. He didn't escape his mind, he transcended it. But this level of focus came at a price. Musashi lived alone, often hungry, often cold. People feared him, admired him, but few understood him. He was not chasing fame, he was chasing truth. He believed that solitude was not loneliness, it was purification. The way, he said, is in training. And for him, training was not about repetition of movement, but repetition of presence. To be fully here, fully alive, no matter what you are doing, whether carving a sword or boiling rice. He believed the act deserved total attention. There's a story that in his later years, Musashi was invited by nobles to teach the art of the sword. He refused. They offered gold. He refused again. They sent messengers begging him to come. His answer was silence. He withdrew to a cave called Regendo, where he spent his final years alone, writing his masterpiece, the Book of Five Rings. When asked why he had isolated himself, he said, "To understand everything, you must let go of everything." Inside that cave, surrounded by the sound of dripping water and wind against stone, he wrote words that would outlive empires. "The true warrior," he wrote, "is not one who wins every battle, but one who conquers himself." That line is the essence of his entire philosophy. The real duel is not against others. It's against your own weakness, your own lack of focus, your own restless mind. The sword is just a metaphor. In truth, Musashi's battles were internal. Every moment of distraction was a test. Every impulse to seek comfort was an opponent. Every excuse was a strike aimed at his potential. So what can we, in the modern world, learn from this ancient master of focus? You don't need to live in a cave or carry a sword, but you do need to recognize that your attention is the most valuable thing you own. And like Musashi, you must defend it as if your life depends on it, because it does. When you scroll endlessly, when you chase validation, when you allow every sound, every message, every random thought to pull you, you are losing invisible battles. Musashi understood something most of us have forgotten, that peace is not found in the absence of chaos, but in the control of attention. He didn't escape the noise of the world. He mastered silence within it. Try to imagine his discipline in your own life. Imagine waking up without reaching for your phone. Imagine walking outside, feeling the morning air, aware of every breath, every sound, every detail, like a warrior walking into a duel. Imagine approaching your work, your art, your relationships with that same level of presence. No distractions, no mental clutter, only you and the task before you. This is the essence of Musashi's focus. It's not about doing more. It's about being more in everything you do. He also believed in the power of subtraction. Musashi once said, "It is not about adding more, but cutting away what is unnecessary." The same way he removed excess motion from his sword strikes, he removed excess thought from his mind. Every day, ask yourself, what is unnecessary in my life right now? What thoughts, habits, or people pull me away from my path? Each thing you remove is a stroke of the sword against chaos. Each no is a sharpening of your attention. But perhaps the most profound lesson Musashi taught was this: solitude is not something to fear, it's something to master. In his cave, he wasn't escaping the world, he was facing himself. In that silence, He confronted every illusion, every fear, every lie the mind tells. And through that confrontation, he found freedom. You can do the same. You don't need to disappear into the mountains. Just take 20 minutes a day. No phone, no sound, no distraction. Sit in the stillness. Let the noise inside you settle. You'll be surprised by what rises in its place. Clarity, creativity, calm. These are the qualities Musashi lived for. These are the weapons of the modern warrior. Musashi understood something most of us overlook. That focus is not a skill, it's a state of being. You don't learn it, you return to it. Beneath all the noise, you already have it. But to reach it, you must go through discomfort. You must be willing to be bored, to be alone, to be unseen. You must face the parts of yourself you've been running from. Musashi called this the path of solitude. It's not about avoiding others. It's about becoming whole within yourself, so that no external force can break your focus again. He lived by a set of rules he wrote shortly before his death, 21 principles he called dokodo, the way of walking alone. In them, he wrote, "Accept everything just the way it is. Do not seek pleasure for its own sake. Never depend on a partial feeling. Do not regret what you..." He knew that the ultimate focus isn't about attention, it's about liberation. To be so grounded that nothing external can shake you. To be so clear that no emotion can cloud you. To be so alive that every breath feels like purpose itself. Modern science is just beginning to understand what Musashi lived. Neuroscientists now know that deep focus activates the same brain regions responsible for flow, creativity, and emotional regulation. Psychologists confirm that solitude restores the brain's capacity for empathy and clarity. The ancient path of Musashi wasn't superstition, it was neuroscience ahead of its time. The path of stillness rewires the brain for strength, just as lifting weights rewires the body for power. And yet, this path will not be easy. Musashi said, "The way is in training." You cannot think your way to focus, you must train your way there. Every time you resist the urge to check your phone, you're sharpening your mind. Every time you choose silence over noise, you're tempering your will. Every time you stay present instead of escaping into distraction, you're becoming stronger. Focus isn't a single act. It's a lifelong duel between you and your own mind. And the only way to win is to keep showing up. Imagine if Musashi were alive today. He'd look around and see men defeated not by swords, but by screens. He'd see warriors who've forgotten their discipline, masters who've traded awareness for dopamine. But he'd also see potential, because the same fire that burned in him burns in all of us. The desire to rise above the noise, to master ourselves, to live with purpose. He would tell you this: your phone is your sword, your attention is your battlefield, your mind is your dojo. Train accordingly. And maybe that's what we all need to remember. That focus is not just about productivity, it's about freedom. The freedom to direct your life instead of being dragged by it. The freedom to choose what deserves your attention. The freedom to live deliberately. Musashi's story isn't about an ancient samurai. It's about us. About every person fighting to reclaim their mind in a world that profits from stealing it. His teachings are not history. They are prophecy. The distracted mind is the defeated mind. But the still mind, the mind that can cut through chaos like a sword through silk, is unstoppable. If you've made it this far, perhaps you already feel it, that small shift inside you. That quiet realization that focus isn't something out there to find. It's already within you, waiting to be awakened. The same stillness that guided Musashi's sword can guide your life. All you need to do is listen. Be still. Breathe. Choose presence over noise. Depth over distraction. Mastery over mediocrity. The path will be lonely. It will be hard. But remember, it's in solitude that strength is born. Musashi's life was proof of that. He walked alone so that others could learn to walk awake. And now, 400 years later, his lesson still echoes. The focused mind is the free mind. So if this message reached you, if it stirred something in you, don't let it fade into the noise. Subscribe to the channel, not for me, but for yourself. Let it be a reminder that you are walking this path of mastery too. Each week, we'll explore more ways to sharpen your mind, calm your spirit, and live like a modern warrior in a world that's forgotten how to be still. Because Musashi's secret wasn't his sword, it was his silence. And the world will always belong to those who can master it.